Apple no longer makes an iMac with a larger screen, but could Apple be planning to revive the larger model? Here's what we've heard. Prior to March 2022, Apple sold two sizes of its iMac desktop computer. The smaller model was more suited to home users due to its less powerful processor, while the larger 27-inch model, with more speed and higher-end features, was meant to be powerful enough for more demanding users. When Apple introduced the 24-inch iMac in 2021 with a colorful redesign and Mon chip, it was the beginning of the end for the high-end version. First, Apple discontinued the iMac Pro and a year later introduced the Mac Studio with the 27-inch Studio display in March 2022 and discontinued the 27-inch iMac at the same time. But the story doesn't end there. Ever since it was retired, there have been rumors that Apple has plans to introduce a new version of the iMac Pro that would also mark the return of the 27-inch iMac. Although it could have an even bigger screen, perhaps 32 inches. In this article, we'll evaluate the reports that suggest that Apple could revive the old brand with a brand new iMac Pro. Read on to find out when it could launch and what features it might offer. 27-inch iMac Pro coming out. The rumors that Apple would revive the iMac Pro have been circulating for years. Back in October 2021, in a tweet that is no longer online, retired Apple leaker Dylan made predictions about an iMac Pro. Clearly, Dylan was incorrect about this prediction, but even if we discount him, others have also claimed that Apple is working on a new iMac Pro. Analyst Ming-Chi Kuo made predictions about a new iMac Pro back in March 2022, suggesting that Apple would ship an iMac Pro in 2023. However, that prediction came just before Apple introduced the Mac Studio and removed the 27-inch iMac from the lineup. The reporter said True Apple has been working on a replacement for the 27-inch iMac Pro for some time, and yet nothing has materialized. It seems that there are difficulties that are leading to delays. In December 2022, Gurman indicated that the iMac Pro had been delayed, citing as with the new Mac Pro high development costs and difficulties engineering chips as the cause of the delay. In his first newsletter of 2023, Gurman also wrote that the iMac Pro has been on and off Apple's roadmap, and that I would be surprised at this point if it arrives in 2023. 27-inch iMac Pro release date. When Gurman referred to the big iMac, in July he claimed that the 32-inch iMac has entered the early testing phase of development and could launch in late 2024 at the absolute earliest, although we could be waiting until 2025. Kuo's October 2023 tweet also indicates that we might have to wait until 2025. Before this new iMac with a larger screen appears, Apple is expected to launch an M3-powered iMac, perhaps in late 2023 or early 2024. If the new 27-inch iMac or larger arrives in 2025, that will be 3 years after the equivalent model was discontinued. That's a long hiatus. 27-inch iMac Pro. Display size. Display analyst Ross Young and others had stated that the iMac Pro will have a 27-inch display, which we have to admit to being disappointed by. However, in June 2023, Bloomberg's Mark Gurman indicated that he had information suggesting that Apple is developing an iMac with a screen larger than 30 inches. He then elaborated further a few weeks later, suggesting that a giant 32-inch iMac is reportedly in testing. Currently, the 32-inch Pro Display XDR is Apple's largest display. Kuo agrees that this new larger iMac could have a 32-inch display, as per the October tweet. Kuo doesn't expand on the screen specs, but it will presumably have ProMotion and XDR extreme dynamic range. 2000-inch iMac Pro CPU and GPU. Bloomberg's Mark Gurman reported back in January 2022 that the iMac Pro would have similar chips to the Mon Pro and Mon Max processors inside of the MacBook Pro. That rumor came before the launch of the Mac Studio, which did ship with Mon Pro and Mon Max chips, so it seems likely that Gurman's source was referring to that machine. With the next 24-inch iMac expected to skip the M2 and move straight to M3 chips, it looks likely that if Apple launches a larger iMac, it will feature the M3 Pro, or if it doesn't launch until 2025, an M4 Pro. 27-inch iMac Pro. RAM? The M2 Pro can support up to 32 GB RAM, while the M2 Max can support up to 96 GB unified memory. This is less than the 128 GB RAM that was supported by the 27-inch iMac. This could be a disappointment to users. Gurman notes that Apple could be changing the unified memory configurations because the MacBook Pros spotted in testing have 36 GB and 48 GB memory, Currently, Apple offers 16 GB, 32 GB, 64 GB, and 96 GB configurations for the M2 Pro and M2 Max. One limitation of Apple's RAM is that it will not be user upgradable. The 27-inch iMac had RAM slots that were user accessible. With Apple Silicon RAM, properly called Unified Memory, is built into the COSE, so it is not user upgradable. The maximum amount of RAM offered by Apple is 192 GB Unified Memory in the M2 Ultra Max Studio and Mac Pro. 27-inch iMac Pro. Storage. Dylan's October 2021 tweet also suggested that there will be 512 GB storage as standard with the new iMac C Pro. That would be an improvement on the 256 GB offered by the entry-level 27-inch in iMac prior to it being retired. But it would follow the pattern of the 16-inch MacBook Pro, which has 512 GB and 1 TB options for the standard machine's 8DE as a build-to-order option. 27-inch iMac Pro, ports and expansion. The 24-inch iMac comes with 2 USB 3 ports, 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports, and a headphone jack. After Apple launched the MacBook Pro with HDMI and an SDXC card slot, rumors suggested the iMac would follow suit. The thin enclosure could be an issue, but Apple solved that issue on the 24-inch model by putting the headphone jack on the side. Apple could position the SD slot similarly to avoid making the iMac thicker. Thunderbolt 5 is now on the horizon, so we may see that in this Pro iMac. Thunderbolt 5 offers double the bandwidth at 80 Gbps. For all but the entry-level 24-inch iMac, Apple placed the Ethernet port in the power adapter brick. The same power adapter is likely to be used for the larger iMac as well. 27-inch iMac Pro. Other features? The 24-inch iMac has an improved FaceTime camera that uses the Muniz ISP to provide better image quality. That same FaceTime camera implementation is expected for the larger iMac Pro as well. We'd like to see the camera also support Face ID. True depth references were spotted in macOS, Big Sur indicating that this was something Apple had looked at. However, no Mac has yet arrived with support for Face ID. If it doesn't have Face ID, the new iMac will have Touch ID built into the keyboard that being offered with the 24-inch iMac and the Touch ID keyboards. 27-inch iMac Pro price. As for the